is up, beautiful people? My name is Sky. This is Sunshine FC. Let's talk Marcus Rashford. You know, I really wish I didn't have to do this. And it's not because I have an agenda and I want to get into that, but I just feel like it's unnecessary for Marcus to even have to put this article, video statement out. Okay, I have many questions. One, if we would have lost yesterday, would this statement have gone out? I would argue no, especially because we have City next, and that's like technically a given loss. Let's be real. And two, like, no one asked for this. I just don't think that this was necessary. And I, especially on TikTok, have been called to have an agenda versus Marcus, whatever that means, because I'm critical of his performance on the pitch. And that's where I think, now don't get me wrong, there are some very awful people who probably are taking this a little bit too far when it comes to Marcus Rashford, which is unacceptable. You can criticize someone as a football player, but not get personal, okay? That's what I think. That's what I see most people doing that are discussing Marcus Rashford's performances this year. It is strictly football for me. I think he could be a great person. I don't know him personally, but seeing what he's done for kids, I haven't heard anything negative about him per se, outside of like not showing up for training. That's on him. But I don't care. At the end of the day, like, if I met him, I'm sure we'd have a great time. But I'm just talking about his football performance this year. This year is the key word, okay? And so I feel like his PR is trying to save him for no reason. And and to me, this doesn't help Marcus. It makes it worse because I feel like he's hearing what we say, but he's not listening, okay? Because nobody that I've talked to is, again, bashing Marcus Rashford as a person. It is strictly his football performance, okay? So we're going to get into his interview, all right? So if you look at this, I'm going to share my screen here, and this is what it looks like, right? So here is what his tweet led to. It's a whole article, and we're going to read it. And then it gets into the video. It's a very long article. And it gets into this video. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to go through this and give my take. Because, again, it's just not necessary. And it makes everything about him again, which is so frustrating. And I would be frustrated if I was a player because, bruh, it's not about you. Just play football. All right, so let's get into the top here. I don't normally like to respond to things said about me. It's not in my nature. I'm an introvert. I don't even like talking about myself unless I really know you. So 99% of the time I can ignore the noise, but sometimes certain lines get crossed and I can't help but want people to just understand who I am as a person. Again, I have to ask, who is doing this? Who? Because everybody that I follow, and a lot of them are football, social media, commentators, and content creators, nobody's talking about Marcus Rashford like this. If anything, it's about his mistake that he made going out to the pub, which is valid, okay, and his football. Okay, I'm not trying to have to go to the media, but you are. I understand the game, you know what I mean? They're not really writing about me. It's like they're writing about this character, Marcus Rashford. It can't just be about me as a 26-year-old lad on a night out or a lad getting a parking ticket. It's to be about how much my car costs, guessing my weekly salary, my jewelry, or even my tattoos. It's got to be about my body language. Bruh, have you watched yourself this year? Read the room, my guy. I have to address the body language part because clearly he lacks self-awareness. Bruh, your body language on the pitch is abysmal. It's unacceptable. We move. And questioning my morals and speculating about my family and my football future. There is a tone to it that you don't get with all footballers. Let's just leave it at that. I think some of it goes back to the pandemic. I was just trying to use my voice to make sure that kids weren't going hungry because I know exactly how that feels. For some reason, that seemed to rub people the wrong way. It seems they've been waiting for me to have a human moment so they can point the finger and say, see who he really is. This, I can agree with him on. I think what he did during the pandemic was fantastic. There's no problem here. And I think I do agree that people have been negative to him towards that, which is not okay. Listen, I'm not a perfect person. And I want to preface this by saying, nobody thought that you were. Nobody thought that you were. When I make a mistake, I'll be the first one to put my hand up and say that I need to do better. Did you? Again, I'm just talking about this year football. When you went out, I genuinely hope you apologize to your teammates. I genuinely hope you apologize to the manager, but the fans did not get an apology. That's all I'm going to say. But if you ever question my commitment to Man United, that's when I have to speak up. It's like somebody questioning my entire identity and everything I stand for as a man. I grew up here. I had played for this club since I was a boy. My family turned down life-changing money when I was a kid so I could wear this badge. What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, does that mean you could have went into another club like Liverpool or Arsenal? Like, that's okay. They want to talk about cars. Imagine being 5, 6, 7 years old and taking 4 different buses across town to get to training at the cliff. That's not an exaggeration. Ask my mom. Somebody had to take off work to go with me because nobody had a car in our family. Nobody even had a license. In the early days, it was 2 buses into town. Then we had to walk to the city to get to the other bus out of town to get to Salford. Even in the pouring rain, nothing really good to eat. Training for hours with my mom while my mom sat there waiting for me, not knowing a thing about football, just doing it out of love. Then the same back home just to chase my dream of playing for United. And that's not me mourning, not at all. I loved every second. You know what the first thing they told us when we got to the cliff? Express yourself. All right? Still to this day, it's some of the best advice I've gotten in football. People will actually think I'm weird when I start talking about what United means to me, because if you're not me, then I'm sure it almost sounds fake. But you have to understand, when I was young, playing for United was everything. It was out of reach for us. It was hard to get there and even harder to stay there. I remember they used to have these 5-a-side tournaments all over Manchester where every player had to pay £1 to get in. It was all ages. You had kids playing against almost grown men. I'd always be asking my mom for £1 because if you had won the whole tournament, your team got all the prize money. It was just about enough for a ticket to Old Trafford. We were so young, but we actually won it a few times. To me, just being there was like, it was everything. We used to stay until everyone had gone and the stadium was nearly empty, just looking around and listening. Old Trafford really has this sound to it. It's like a surround sound echo, and it's so calming to me for a kid who moved around a lot. It always felt like home. When something is inside you like that, it's not just inside you. Nobody put it there. It's just there. Now, again, I understand he might have had that kind of upbringing, and amazing kudos to his mother, right? I think that's an amazing story for Marcus, and I'm proud of him for working hard. But this to me, and I'm going to be really honest here, this sounds like he is pleading, and it came to me as I was reading this with you guys, it sounds like he's pleading out to Ineos to keep him. Like he wants Ineos to see how much this club means to him. He may not have had or get the opportunity to have that meeting with them. So I feel like this is his way to say, hey, I love it here. This is my identity. This place is my dream. I want to stay. That is what I'm getting from this part in particular. What do you guys think about that? Let's keep moving. When I was about 10 or 11 years old, I got a lot of attention, and we had all kinds of agents and clubs trying to pass things to the family. United still hadn't signed me to a scholarship, and people were offering all kinds of things. A few clubs offered us life-changing money, so it was other clubs. See? We'll buy the family a home. We'll put cars in your garage. We'll change your family's life. At the time, my mom was working as a cashier at Ladbrokes. My brother was working for AA. They had every right to tell me, just take the deal. Again, I think he's just trying to prove that he loves United. But they knew my dream was to play for United, so they never pressured me. I don't know how many people know this, but I actually played 2 academy games for that one club to see how I liked it. I remember walking out of the dressing room and seeing my mom and my brothers, and they just asked me, what do you want to do, stay or go? And I said, I want to go back to United. That's it. We got back on the bus. We bet everything on ourselves, all our tips. Looking back on it now and seeing how amazing young players never made it to the first team, it was a huge risk. But for me, it was the only choice. I remember around that time we had a family meeting, and I said, if we do make it to play for United someday, I want to be able to look at you all in the eyes and say that you've not changed. And I want you to look me in my eyes and say, I've not changed. People think they know my family story, but they're only scratching the surface. There's a lot that people don't know because I don't feel comfortable sharing it all while I'm still playing. But the struggle was real. It wasn't a commercial. It wasn't a movie. People say that I'm from Wythenshawe, but I had to move all over as a kid. I stayed everywhere. Homie with my auntie, Moss side with my nana, Charlton with my brother for a while, Saltney Avenue in Whittington, all over. But I wouldn't change any of it, as hard as it was, because it molded me into who I am. I still run into guys from where I used to live, and we'll just start shaking our heads and laughing. Do you remember those days, bro? If you know, then you know. So again, this is what this is to me. He's just trying to plead his case to Ineos at this point. Because I don't understand why you're releasing this for us. This part, I don't think it's for the fans. Let's keep going. You know what's crazy? I probably shouldn't even admit this, but I used to go back home during my first season with the United first team and play street ball with my friends and on my days off. That's my culture. It's still a part of me, and I think it's one of the reasons I made it out. If you didn't live it with us, then I don't expect you to understand. There's always a thing my mom used to say to me from when I was young. She always said, nothing is for free, Marcus. That wisdom wasn't about football. She didn't tell me just to keep me away from agents. It was about life in general. Every year that goes by, I understand it more. Nothing is for free. Money is great. It's a blessing, but dreams are priceless. For me, even at 11 years old, playing for United was my only goal. I remember around that time when I was still trying to get signed, Waza and Cristiano came by to do something with all the academy kids, and I was just looking at them in awe. You know what I mean? They had a photographer there, and at the end, all of us kids had a chance to get a picture with them. And I remember hanging in the back away from everyone. I remember my brother saying, go take a picture with Waza, bro. What are you doing? I said, I don't need a picture. He said, don't need a picture. I said, I'm going to be playing alongside them someday. I think I was the only kid who didn't get a photo. After we had turned down the money, there was just this hunger inside of me. I didn't see myself as a kid anymore. I had to grab my opportunity and change our lives, period. To be able to go on and really live that dream as a kid from Manchester, a kid from home, Moss Side, Trolton, Withington, Wythenshawe, I'm probably saying those wrong. If you think I would ever take that for granted, then you simply do not know me. I know this is a lot, guys, but you have to see where I'm coming from here. And I hope you guys can see it too as we're reading this. This is for Ineos. This part? Like, why are you sharing this? Let's continue. Listen, the thing is, football can be a bubble. I've tried to stay a normal person. I've tried to keep my same friends. I've tried my best not to change, even when I'm on a night out or on holiday. But there's another side to that. I'm a human being. I've made mistakes that a lot of lads in their 20s make, and I've tried to learn from them. But I've also made sacrifices that nobody sees. The thing that I want you to understand is that money is not what keeps you playing through the hard times. It's the love of the game, plain and simple. We all know that this has been a club in transition the last few seasons. When we are winning, you are the greatest fans in the world, and that's a fact. We need more of that old school positive energy around the club. I know what that kind of atmosphere can do because it kept me going through my worst moments. Every time I walk out onto the pitch, I hear the fans singing my name, or I look around Old Trafford before kickoff, I feel that same positive energy. This right here is Loki feels a little bit like he's gaslighting the fans because, yes, we have been a club in transition. He says, when we are winning, you are the greatest fans in the world, and that's a fact, okay? So it's like, okay, so when we're losing, are you upset because we're frustrated that we're losing? Like, what? That's a crazy statement. Am I wrong? Like, and why is no other players on teams releasing statements like this? This is a full novella. This is a big article. So when we're losing, we're not the greatest fans in the world because we're critiquing the fact that why we're losing is your performances aren't up to par. Very interesting. Deep down, when I look around before every kickoff, I'm still a fan. I can't get that out of my blood. I'll never forget the first time I ever played at Anfield, and I felt that atmosphere of United versus Liverpool from the pitch. And I heard the whistle go and the roar of the crowd. I had so much adrenaline that I almost got sent off early in the match. I love James Milner, but I sprinted straight at him and flew in for a reckless tackle because I had so much emotion going through me. Not as a United player, but as a United fan who just happened to be out on the pitch against Liverpool. This is crazy. I remember coming home and telling my family, we need to get this under control right now. I need to find a way to take the fan part out of me, or else I'm going to get sent off every game. I can take criticism. I can take any headline from podcasts, social media, and the papers. I can take it. If you start questioning my commitment to this club and my love for football and bringing my family into it, then I'd simply ask you to have a bit more humanity. Again, I might be missing something because I'm in America, but who was doing that? Who genuinely was doing that? Because the only thing that I've ever been doing and other content creators have been doing is questioning your ability on the football pitch. I never questioned whether you liked United. I might question it sometimes when you miss practice. I never questioned your love for the game. I never thought about your family. At one time, did your family ever cross my mind? I'm just sick and tired of you not tracking back. Okay? Who's doing this? Who? You know what, though? If I'm honest, a part of me doesn't mind it when people doubt me. When everyone is telling me they love me, I get suspicious. I know the way the world works. I had to become a young man really young. Always had to rely on myself. Whenever I've been in my darkest of places and it feels like half the world is against me, I tend to go off by myself for a couple of days and reset, and then I'm fine. I think it goes back to me as a kid dribbling all over the street on my own until it was so dark that I couldn't see the ball anymore, and I could hear my mom shouting for me to come home. That's me being an introvert, needing my space to reset. Other times, when that hasn't worked, I found someone to talk to, someone that's the way to do it. Sometimes that's the way to do it. But every single time I've been down, physically or mentally, I always feel that that's when I've turned around and played my best football for United and England. I promise you, the world has not seen the best of this United squad and these players. We want to be back playing the Champions League. Then we have a massive international tournament at the end of the season. We will be back where we belong. We just have to keep working, and that starts with me. Fair enough. If you back me, good. If you doubt me, even better. As someone who genuinely does not rate Marcus Rashford as a football player right now, I'm glad I read this. I am, because I want to understand him, because he plays for my club. He's been here a long time. I want to understand, okay, what's going on inside of his head. Though I don't think this was necessary. Okay, I don't think this was necessary. I still believe that. But he'd release it, so here we are. Fair enough. You want to plead your case. You want to show that you're United through and through, and you've had a tough upbringing, and you fought for where you are. Period. I am here for that. I want that for you. I want you to continue to prove people wrong. Prove me wrong. Okay? This is where I'm going to hold you to, Marcus. Okay? Because if you're going to post this, I'm going to hold you to this. We will be back where we belong. We just have to keep working. And that starts with me. Period. Because what that shows me is I think he low-key wants to be captain of this team. I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus is eyeing that captain armband and is like, I want that to be mine. So he's trying to put the brunt of it on himself. Fair enough. Prove me wrong, okay? For those of you that don't live in America, we have a state called Missouri. And our states, like Texas, Arizona, they have mottos, like taglines, okay? Where I'm from, New Mexico, our tagline is the land of enchantment, all right? Missouri's tagline is called the Show Me State. Basically, in Missouri, they're like, show me. Prove to me that you're about your business, and we're good. That's how I am with Marcus Rashford. You want to drop this story. You want to show that you're all in for United. You want to claim that the work starts with you to get us back to the Champions League, back on top, playing United football, and it starts with you, period. Prove me wrong. Prove us wrong, okay? That's all I have to say. That's pretty much all I have to say about this article. And those last sentiments that I had is what I would share with Marcus Rashford. He may never watch this video, but if I ever had the opportunity to sit down with Marcus Rashford, I would say, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. I want you to prove me wrong. You want to know why? Because if you do, we win. It's simple. It's literally that simple. If you prove us wrong and you're scoring goals and you're working hard and you're tracking back and you're leading the team and you're high-fiving and you're not in your head and you're not throwing your arms up and your body language isn't terrible, your body language shows us you don't want to be here. Let's be real. So you're telling us that you want to be here, so I need you to prove it to me now. Does that make sense? Am I far off? Is that a stretch? Is that a reach? I don't think so. You guys let me know in the comments, but that's all I have to say about that. I really wanted to read that on camera, break it down, talk about it, and hear what you guys had to say. So that's going to be my video on Marcus Rashford's statement. We'll see how it goes. I hope he proves us wrong. I hope he can move forward from this and become better, be the player he wants to be. I think he wants to be that player. It's just, can he do it? We'll find out. Those are going to be my thoughts. Again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to be here. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in the next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye.